Welcome back to Tackett's House of Horsepower. It's me, Steve Tackett. And that's a little 65 100 Series Nova. So we're gonna get started on that. I think we'll start with the engine compartment because that's where all the fun stuff happens. So the 406 is ready to drop in, and I want to do that. I want to drop the engine in the engine compartment, but there's a few things that I want to do before that, like some metal working and some cutting and welding and stuff that needs to happen. Maybe route the wiring harness and stuff like that. There's some things that you can do to the engine compartment before the engine's in the way. You know what I mean? So let's take a look at that. We'll get started there. All right, so here we go. Let's get the hood off, get it out of the way. And it looks like somebody's cleaned this and probably rattle canned it at some point, because underneath all that dirt and dust, it's actually pretty nice and clean. And like a lot of the hardware and stuff is all new. Like you can tell somebody's done some work in here. But it's not ready for my 406. The 406 is going to be kind of nasty. We're going to make this thing kind of fast. I'm picturing this car as like a duct tape drags, no prep race type of car, you know. So let's get it out, get the hood off, start cleaning. And I want to pull this wiring harness. It's in pretty sad shape. You can tell because a lot of the wires are cracking and look at that, it's just flaking. A lot of this wiring is probably gonna have to get replaced. So that's gonna have to come out. I'm also probably going to get rid of the heater box, and we're gonna weld the firewall up flat. So all those holes need to get welded up and smoothed out. And then we're gonna come over here and we're gonna cut a big old hole right here. We're gonna move those brake lines out of the way. And then we can clear the fender wall headers. So 406 is gonna go in, fender wall headers are gonna go in, heater's gonna get deleted. Stuff on the firewall that we're not gonna use, like brackets and ballast resistors, that's going away. Some of these brake lines are going to have to get moved. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of cleaning and stuff like that. So everything will be ready to go so I can put the 406 in it. Okay. Getting the hood off by yourself is not fun. I would never attempt it if the paint was nice either. Like if it had nice paint on it, I would never attempt that. But I'm by myself, and I don't really care if I scratch the roof. And just, like, who cares? So, all right. Let's see. Somebody put the wrong nuts on all this. They're metric 10 millimeter. So everything was stripped out. That's great. So I got all them out. There's wiring just kind of where it doesn't belong. Everything's got cuts and splices in it, butt connectors. So basically, I'm probably gonna just rewire the whole car myself. I don't know. We'll see what it looks like. Wow, that came apart pretty easy. Made a little bit of a mess, but now that's got to come out anyways. So yeah, look at this. Somebody DE worked on this. Looks like 5/14/85. Cool. Whoever that guy was. Anyways, we'll probably make a template out of cardboard and I'll stick that up here, cut out a piece of metal, cover up all these holes, start welding, and then I gotta bondo and grind it. And I'm definitely not a body man, but I can make it sort of kind of work. I was just thinking that since this has a big old hole in it already, I should buy that bezel that goes there with the 3 gauges in it and put my gauges up there. Might as well, since somebody's already cut it up, you know what I mean? And then I'll probably weld those holes up, and then, you know what I mean, it'll make the dash as simple as possible. You know what I mean? So that's the dash so far. So far, so good. Now, you can see all the holes I need to weld up now. All these holes can go away. So I'll lay a piece of metal behind it, tack weld all that stuff in, and then grind it smooth and just bondo it flat. You know what I mean? Then I started pulling this stuff out, and this harness is pretty chopped up. So I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to reuse. I might have to get creative or just replace it. I don't know. So anyways, let's go ahead and pull the rest of this out, and then I'll start making me a template so I can cut out a piece of metal for there. Well, the wiring harness is getting worse by the minute. As soon as I tried to take that plug off, it just literally it came apart in pieces. Can you see that? Wow. There's the other half of it still on here. Great. So that's great. Looks like we're going to have to replace at least some of these harnesses. Well, the harness is out, and I definitely see a lot of butt connectors and splices everywhere. It's pretty bad. So that might go in the trash. The other things I've noticed are this thing's been apart at least once, because in 1965, all this should have been riveted. See that's all bolted. Those are all bolts. So in 65, it should have been riveted. So this has been apart. And whoever put it back together decided they just weren't going to put all the bolts back in, I guess. Because this core support is not attached at all. So it's just kind of hanging out, I guess. So we're gonna have to get some hardware and put this back together the way it's supposed to be. So that's fine. Now, time to start cutting and welding and grinding. I want to cut these panels out, and I want to weld these holes up so we can clear these guys. Right? So let's get started. All right, I got myself a patch panel. It's all gonna lay up in here like that, something like that. And so I just gotta come over here. I got a couple big pieces of sheet metal. Probably use this one. Lay this on here and cut it out. And then do some welding. Hopefully that'll be covered up here shortly. All right, there we go. I had to bend it a little bit so it'll lay flatter in there, but there you go. You get the idea. Then I came over here and I ground off that lip. There was kind of a lip sticking up. So I ground that flat. So now I'm ready to just stick this up there, put some pressure on it, and then we'll start tack welding it. All right, well, I finished trimming it up to where it, lays as flat as possible. And then I found a hammer that fits perfectly right there to hold it for me. So now I just got to start welding. What do you think? Let's start welding. Okay, here goes nothing. Safety squints. Don't tell Sarah. She'll be mad. Okay, just don't. I'm tacking it. Tack it. Get it? Okay. I want to reposition my hammer because it's not very flat. It's kind of, well, this bottom half is kind of got a nice ripple to it. And I can't get it to lay flat. Try left hand. That's not too bad. All right, so there you go. Everything is just tack welded up. You don't want to get it too hot, so you got to tack all around. And then all the places that are not on the metal plate, I just cut out little squares and I stuck them on the back and I tack welded those in all over. So basically, all I got to do now is grind it smooth. At least the high spots, knock down all the high spots, and then scuff it up with like a wire brush or something, and then I'll float Bondo right over the top of it, and then we'll sand it down and smooth it out, and it's gonna be just fine. You can see what I did in here. I was using my hammer handles to hold it in place. I caught them on fire a little bit. Anyway, you can see all the little spots over there and over there. So now we just clean that up grind it smooth, and we're good to go. All right, so all I've done so far is just take my grinder and knock down all the high spots. See what I mean? Then I don't have a flapper disc. I thought I had a flapper disc. I was gonna put a sandpaper or flap disc on here and just strip it, all the paint and everything down to bare metal, but I'm gonna have to run to the store. But anyway, you get the idea. I'll get that stripped down, smoothed out as best I can, just kind of roughed in, and then we'll start floating it with some Bondo. But I think I'm about running out of daytime. It's almost time for dinner. So I think I'm just about done for today. I'll have to run up to the store tomorrow, get me a flapper disc, and then I'll strip all this down, and then we'll see what it looks like. Okay, I'm back. I had to run some errands this morning and whatever, so I'm getting kind of a later start. But anyways, I got flapper discs. So let me strip this down, smooth it out as best I can, and then we'll spread some Bondo, put a little primer on it, and see what it looks like. Okay. The flap disc took it down pretty smooth. It's not bad. I mean, it probably looks terrible, but that's okay. So now all this is low. Everything you see is kind of low. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna come in and just build that up with probably a couple layers. Probably gonna take me 2 or 3 tries to get it built up to cover all that, but we'll get that covered, let it dry, and then do some sanding. My favoriteest thing in the world. Well, first round, it doesn't look that great. I'll be real honest. It's kind of low and kind of high and kind of low. I don't know. So let's be real honest. If you ever see me sanding on things, that means things have gone horribly wrong, and I need an adult right now. Send help. Send help immediately. Okay, while round 2 is drying, I went out to the shed and I did some shopping. I got me my V8 gas pedal linkage and my frame mounts, and that's my last set too. So my shed's getting kind of slim pickings, but luckily the 63 already had a V8 in it, so I didn't need any of that. But I got the stuff I need to put a V8 in this one. I just want to finish that up, get it painted black. We need to cut out those panels, both sides. So then hopefully this thing will be ready to drop in. Maybe next week, possibly, hopefully. I don't know, we'll see. Round 3. I'm still trying to get that low spot built up. So while that's drying, I'm gonna pop this master cylinder off, get it out of the way, and I'm gonna start cutting these panels to clear for the fender well headers. So let me get that master cylinder out of my way, and we'll get in here and start cutting. Round 4, here we go. I'm just gonna fill up a couple little divots. There's like a couple little divots there, and then I'm gonna sand it one more time, and then that's good enough. Over here, I cut out these panels. Now, other Novas I've done, I've moved the brake lines, and I don't know if I need to, but I usually move these over to like here, and I get the panel way down, cut it down. But I don't think I need to. So I'm gonna try and leave it right about there and just try it and see if I can get the headers in this way. If that's good enough, then great. If not, I'll have to come back and just cut that bottom lip a little bit lower. But let me hit this one more time, number 4, and then we'll do some more sanding, and then I'm just gonna and that's gonna be it, I think, hopefully. All right, 4 times and I'm done. Like, that's as good as it's gonna get. It looks like something hit it, like it got hit right there. See it? That big old dent right there. And it put like a crease in the metal. So it's got a real high, this angle and this angle don't match. And there's like a crease going across right there. So whatever, it is what it is. Now let me throw about 4 coats of primer over that, and then I'll hit it with some black and see what it looks like. All right, a couple coats of primer, and it's starting to look pretty decent. It's still kind of tacky, so I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. And while that's sitting, I'm just trying to lay out plans. And I got this old 6A box sitting in my drawer over there. And now that we got that flat spot up here, it's gonna be perfect for mounting. You know what I mean? You mount your ignition box there. You know what I mean? Here's what I got in the drawer. It's just an old 6A box, but it'll work. It doesn't have a rev limiter or nothing but fancy, but you know, we just shift when the valves float, you know, or the oil pressure drops, whichever comes first. And you know, that's how you do it. All right, there it is. Heater box deleted, firewall smoothed out, fender well exit holes cut out. Not bad for a day and a half worth of work, but you can tell I used semi-gloss black, and it's way glossier than this black. So now I might as well just clean the whole engine compartment and just shoot the whole thing. I'll go get some more paint and we'll just paint the whole engine compartment. Might as well. We're here, might as well do it. So anyways, it looks pretty good, except for you can tell where, like I said, something hit it, like the engine or something hit it, like the top bolt for the bell housing or something right there, and it put a nasty crease right there, which put a crease right there. Whatever, it's going to be lower than the engine. You're not going to see it. It'll be behind the valve covers and everything. And then the fender wall headers, you won't be able to see much of this. But it came out pretty decent for a guy who does not do body work. But anyway, there you go. What do you think? I also cleaned up my VIN tag, or my body tag. I know some people like to decode those. It'll tell you all kinds of stuff. But anyway, not bad for a day and a half worth of work. All right, well, there you go. What do you think? I'm covered in Bondo dust and I got Bondo boogers, but I'm feeling pretty good. We got pretty far with it. I don't normally do body work. I'm not a body man. I do not claim to be a body man. If you're looking for tips and tricks on how to do body work, don't come here. I don't know. I can make it look halfway presentable sometimes, you know. That's it. You know what I mean? The best advice I can give you is find somebody else to do it. Get a buddy who knows how to do it, or pay somebody who knows how to do it, or just stick with it. You know what I mean? Keep trying, keep sanding, spread it, keep sanding, keep spreading it until it looks presentable. You know, that's how I do it. So anyway, but I had to get it done because I need the firewall finished. I need the cutting and welding and grinding and stuff, painting. I got to get all that done on the firewall before I can put the engine in it. So I had to do it. So with that out of the way, I can get the rest of the engine compartment finished up, set the engine in it, and I got a radiator out there in the shed. I can start bolting everything together, plumbing it, hoses and all that stuff, getting it all done. So hopefully next week we'll get that engine in there and it'll start looking like a car here real quick. I think it'll be running and driving pretty quickly. So if that sounds good, hit like, hit subscribe, hit that bell so you know you can follow along. Tell your friends, hit comments, any of that stuff helps me out. I really appreciate it. So till next time, see ya.